Hey, what's up, everybody? So, I'm in a video making mood, okay? And I'm making a video. That's right. Now, I'm being a little goofy here, but point is, I need to be a little. I feel like I definitely need to. I need to be more active on social media, and there's a lot of. I went to college for digital media stuff. And, I never actually got out into the job world and found a job in Pittsburgh on KDKA or, just little things like that. I've never actually done anything like that. So I always feel like I go my own route, I take my own path when it comes to media. And you'll see I'm fairly active on Facebook and things like that, but just it's not enough. So one of the things I did that I really miss and I want to bring back into my life is I did a radio show when I was in college, and it was probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever done. And I'm like, the college is actually allowing me to. I did a radio show every Friday night for like a couple, 2.5 years at least. I started in 2017, near the end of 2017, and my final show was at the beginning of 2020. So, I mean, it was at like 8 o'clock or something. Then it got moved to 10. But one of the things that I realized is what the rules the format I set up I was actually allowed to do is that I would talk for 10 minutes at a time. Okay? And then I would play a few songs, 3 or 4 songs, and then I would talk for another 10 minutes. And throughout there was like, I had like 6 segments of like 10 minutes. And then there was like usually sometimes even like a 3-minute segment at the end. Like, so whenever I get on, a lot of my YouTube videos are so short. They're like, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 4 minutes. I went backwards there, but they're so short. And whenever I started a radio show, of course, I was incredibly nervous. I was like, I can't do this. How am I supposed to talk for an hour? Well, it was an hour, but like I couldn't even think about how I could make a 10-minute segment, 10 minutes long, and people would listen to this stuff. And you get to wonder in today's age, everybody's so busy that if I decided I wanted to make a 10-minute video, no one's gonna watch the whole thing. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, that's way too long in today's age." Everybody's obsessed with these reels and these things that like they're really funny, but they're really short because you're not wasting much time, but you're completely wasting your time. Because this stuff is not really important, and I bet if I do make it, if this video, which I'm going to try to do, I want to make this a 6-part series, all 10 minutes long, and just to prove that I can do something like that. I mean, not trying to prove anything, but it's more of a creative endeavor. So yeah, I mean, my radio show meant so much. It was such a talking about that radio show, that was such a courageous thing. And I was like, I'm not going to have 1,000 listeners on this thing. Just like my video that I'm doing right now is not gonna have 1,000 views. But sorry about the fly. But like still, there was a lot of courage at first, and I would always write notes of what to talk about. Like I'd bring a page of notes, a whole page, like literally not just note cards, but a whole page, so that I could follow on track. And it's all about. But after a couple months after my first semester, I still wrote a little bit of notes, but I just kind of barely glanced at them after a while. And I was like, I don't need a page of notes to do a video, like to do not video but a radio broadcast. I don't need that, so. And after a while, I realized the more notes you write, the more you have a chance of becoming like robotic. Like, you're just like, I was a sports, and I didn't want to just write stats like, oh, with the Steelers, Kenny Pickett went 22 of 30 for 250 yards. Like, he never passes for that many yards, anyways. But still, point is, I didn't want to just be a statistician with my radio show. I wanted to implement a personality. I wanted to be like, hey, look at this. I wanted there to be enthusiastic sometimes, but you also got to watch about being too enthusiastic, and like lowering your. But and here I am talking so fast to you guys, but the point is it was such a creative, and the people that did watch, listen, like my parents and my relatives, and like, oh, I caught your radio show and it was good, and I'm like, wait, it was actually good? Like, like, what? It wasn't good. Like, I was like surprised, because I was like, like, I couldn't believe, like, I thought when I did a radio show, of course, I was nervous, and all the screw ups I did, I'm like, my radio show is probably not that great, but you know what? It was part of my calling. I felt it whenever I was at that one meeting at the college. I'm like, this is for me, because the whole world is like boring. Like I just want to be a businessman and get on an Excel spreadsheet and punch numbers and do financial stuff and be a boring blah blah. But radio show is creative. It's fun, and it gave me hope that I could live a life that of going after what I'm passionate about, rather than just doing the boring thing that made money. Like, oh, I'm gonna, like, what I started out as whenever I came to Clarendon University? I was a computer science major. Ah, computer science. And everybody's like, that's a great path, dude. You're going to make so much money. Halfway through the semester, I was crying my eyes out because I couldn't figure out how to do a program. I couldn't figure out how to code the program. It was so difficult. I was like crying. I had to get a tutor, and it was, I mean, he tutored me to a B, but I didn't feel like moving forward. I'm like, I can't do computer programming. I can't even code a program. Like, so what? And everybody's like, yo, you should continue. It's going to make you so much money. Like, and I was like, no, can't do it. I can't do it. So I went, one of my friends told me to try communication, digital media. It'll be the best field for you. You'll love it. You're into sports. You're going to love the communication field. So I switched for a major communication, and I went down that path. Did it take courage? Yes, it did. But I loved every second of it. I did more creative things than I can ever imagine. Like, even my last semester back in 2021, when I did sports photography, I was on the football field taking pictures. Like, on the sidelines were football players and stuff, and it was like, what am I doing right now? Like, holy crap. I'm actually following my dreams here. Yeah, I was. Now, college is over. It's been 2 years ago. You should have a job in that field by now. No, I don't. And I don't know if I will ever get there. But that doesn't mean my college experience was not worth it. If I never find a job in that field, oh boy, and it wasn't worth it, was it? Yes, it was, because it meant to me something in my heart. It meant something to me in my heart. So that college, it was 100% worth it. Even if I spend the rest of my life working at a Dollar General, which I don't hate, by the way. I enjoy that. But like, beside the point, even if I never find a job in communication, and then people that do, I'm glad you have success in that field. That's wonderful. I'm proud, whatever. But even if I don't, like, it was still worth something to me personally, deep in my heart. You see, we're reaching that 10-minute mark. So that's what my advice to people is, like, to follow your heart a little bit more than the money path. I mean, the money path is great. It really, I mean, I understand everybody wants to be financial secure and everybody wants to be financial stable and they got to support a family, and it all makes sense. But if you don't have something that you did in your life that actually meant something to you in your heart space, then that money's going to feel empty. And I don't like saying that to people, but that's just my opinion. And right now, I'm not making very much money, but my life means something, especially doing a video like this. 10 minutes long. Who's going to watch? Who's going to watch? Who's going to say, I don't have the time to watch this, kid? We'll see. All right. Adios, guys.